So Clark's visit to Smallville has ended, he's gone back to Metropolis, but then Lana Lang immediately calls him and asks if he'd ask his good friend Superman to come on down to Smallville so he can appear at Ricky's party. Already abusing your connections, aren't you, Lana? So, the fake kryptonite is ready, but it is still missing that key ingredient.
Also, given what they're going to do with this kryptonite in the story, shouldn't it be red?
I would think so, not the least of which is, when they give him this, they're not even going to disguise as anything. They're just going to give him a jagged green chunk of crystal. I would think he'd have bad associations with the jagged green chunk of crystal.
If someone hands me a giant spider, I don't just take it!
I guess they did get a little carried away.
Ah! That band's lack of tuning is my kryptonite.
One of Oscar and Kim's 68 known weaknesses.
You know, Lana, I really wasn't expecting all this.
Because that outfit really is a low-key kind of affair, isn't it? Yes, they're having a special day to celebrate Superman and give him the key to the city. And that's when Gus shows up and does another bad Robin Williams routine.
Now, I don't have to tell you that America leads the world in high-grade plastics.
Maybe you haven't noticed, but no one's laughing.
And they just give him the kryptonite. As I said earlier, just a green hunk of crystal. They didn't turn it into some sort of statue or carve it or grind it. And then Gus is disappointed that he didn't just drop dead right there. Which means Gus kind of thought Superman would just drop dead in front of everyone, and he'd walk away saying, well, it wasn't my fault. I think they'd know it was you if he died right then.
He did it.
I asked you to kill Superman, and you're telling me you couldn't even do that one simple thing.
Movie? Come here, movie. You get 10 points for just that line.
Good God, Lana! You don't pawn your ring if you live in a place like this! Get by my ass!
And Lana gets a call for Superman, because apparently she's part of the Superman phone tree now. Probably bragging to everyone that Superman's coming to my house for lunch, I don't know. But Superman doesn't care, because the fake kryptonite is acting like red kryptonite and turning him into a dickweed. Apparently Zack Snyder is living red kryptonite. Yes, apparently he's fallen to the guy-liner side of the Force. Then he snaps to and goes off to the action scene, but he's too late.
What can I do to help?
Not much of anything now.
If only you'd got here a minute sooner.
Brave words to a man who can literally kill you with a look.
And Superman is suddenly in Italy, setting the Leaning Tower of Pisa straight, and ruining the tchotchkes of the nearby tchotchke salesman at the same time. Funny? Mean?
So, screwing with monuments is Superman's version of a drunk text.
So the world formally censures Superman over what could be considered a prank or even a well-intentioned mistake, and so he goes even douchier and accidentally blows out the Olympic torch just before they're about to light it. Again, is this supposed to be funny? Are we supposed to be horrified? Are we supposed to hate Superman? Is this a sign that even at his worst he is still just a jerk? I'm not sure how to read the tone because everything in this movie is so silly. So Gus, trying to do his master's bidding, diverts all of the oil tankers in the world to one spot in the middle of the ocean.
And only one captain questions this nonsense, apparently.
I'm not taking my ship there just to await further orders, no matter what that damn machine says.
Meanwhile, Gus also plans to build a supercomputer, because now he's becoming Brainiac.
This development was highly improbable.
Meanwhile, the hot blonde decides to seduce Superman. I don't know if this is part of the plan or if she just has the hots for him.
If you just do me one little favor first.
What's that?
I want you to split me like cardboard. There's this little boat, and it's not going where it's supposed to go.
So Superman goes and Valdezes the rogue ship so it loses all its oil into the ocean. Also known as the greatest naval disaster in human history. Because Superman wants to get laid. I guess points to him that even as he's going dark he never turns rapist, but geez, this is almost worse than if he did just rape her to death.
But the cleanup might have been almost as messy.
Oh, and meanwhile, because of the oil shortage, this would be a pretty recent memory back in 1983. Gas shortages and violence.
Don't you do it. Don't.
Meanwhile, in what I think is a Grand Canyon, I'm pretty sure, but it doesn't say overtly, Gus has been setting up the new Brainiac computer. He doesn't call it Brainiac in the movie, but it's Brainiac. It's a Superman villain, it's computers. This is Brainiac.
No, I cannot go out with you tonight. No, I'm busy tomorrow night too. Brad, please stop calling me. I've told you.
You better start appreciating old Brad. What else you got in Smallville?
When I'm the only object left on the clearance rack is your best selling point, you're in a low place. Meanwhile, Superman is a drunk prick. I think we moved into the Snyderverse again.
Hey, look! Superman!
I want to see what's happening here.
Ricky, thank you.
Race, that's what it is.
I'll tell you, nobody's ever going to trust that creep again.
And yet in the next movie, they're going to be handing him their nuclear weapons without any hesitation.
Superman, please get better.
He's not listening to you, Ricky.
Yes, he is. He can hear me. He's got super hearing.
He can hear my horrible dubbed voice.
Superman is clearly struggling with this new tendency of his and where it's coming from, and goes off to the junkyard.
As one does.
And here is, no doubt, the best and most famous scene from this movie, where Superman deals with his inner demons. Clark Kent, the real Superman, versus this weird, fake kryptonite persona of a jerk Superman. The odd thing about this scene, while it has some great stunts and moments and set pieces and all that, is the damage is clearly literally happening, so he somehow... This is not just a metaphor. He has split into two distinct beings with superpowers. And I don't get that, but it still makes for a good scene just because it's imaginative and clever. And of course, by the end, the real Superman wins out. And he flies off, having shaken off the effects of the non-red K.
And re-brightened his uniform.
Cheer with Color Guard. Dirt goes, color stays.
So he goes to undo his oil spill. You know, that was apparently several days ago, and I really don't think you can just undo it that quickly. A lot of animals are now coated in oil and dead. You can't just undo that. Remember the first movie? Oh wait, God, he did undo that. He goes to Webster's office to confront him and find the message telling him where they're going to be. Because they're going to be ready for him. Because computers in the 80s, again, were magical cauldrons.
Well, in fairness, you're gonna fight Superman. Magic's a good way to do it.
No, we have to have real magic. And then you end up being in Supergirl, and no one wants that. Especially Supergirl.
Let the games begin.
Woo! Don't tense up now, honey.
Nope, totally not marking for the video game here, are we?
Dude, there are even points!
Oh yeah, there's points.
So Superman managed to fly through all the rings, dodge the missiles, and now he's ready to confront them in the boss fight.
Hi, honey.
I don't know you, lady.
But the other night.
I'm sorry, but that wasn't me. That guy's gone.
Cue the goofy computer powers, which are just whatever we want to come up with. It can scan him and create kryptonite beams.
That's kryptonite!
Yes! This time we got it right!
Oh, I see. You fixed it. That's how you answer the question. This was kind of a major plot point, and now you just figured it out. God, can you tell me one movie where people just figure out something that's a great mystery?
Every boy's special lady is his mother. Martha, Martha, Martha.
And there's your legacy. Is that what you want to be, Superman 3? Is that what you want to be?
Maybe.
You're going to go down in history as the man who killed Superman.
No.
And here is the redemption of Gus, where suddenly he wants to stop this thing from killing Superman. But you were all for killing Superman. You were disappointed when it didn't do it before. The only difference is that you're not a sadist who wants to just have fun watching him slowly die. Not being sadistic is not the same as being good. If you want to say you changed your mind, fine, but they're acting like he was always good and didn't realize he was working for the bad guys. You knew what you were doing, Gus.
Oh, see, I'm not with them, Superman.
You could have fooled me, mister.
You at least deserve to go to jail, maybe not as long as these guys, but you are still a bad guy. But now that Gus suddenly cares about his victims, he cuts the power with an axe. I thought he really loved this computer. Why is he turning on it this quickly?
You know, even he doesn't look satisfied with this character development.
And so, the Brainiac computer construct thing shows its loyalty to Gus by attacking him. Just because Gus took an axe to it.
That's the Chicago way.
And so Superman, being freed from the kryptonite beam, just leaves all 4 of them behind.
That would be the French.
And then the computer does this.
Yes?
Today's been full of surprises.
And I gotta tell you, when I was a little kid when this came out, this gave me nightmares, literal nightmares. I woke up screaming from this. Behold, the power of the computer. So, make sure you don't get that Coleco in your house or anything. This is gonna happen to you. And of course, Superman goes back to the chemical plant all the way back in Act 1. And he gets some of the magical acid that is harmless until it gets heated up. He comes back and fights off the drone sister lady. And now the mainframes are attacking? What's happening? Is this Superman 3 or The Wiz? But of course the acid heats up and kills Brainiac. And Brainiac was able to create kryptonite on the fly, but it couldn't read that this would chemically become much more dangerous surrounded by heat. Oh well, the movie's over now. So Superman flies Gus to a nearby coal mine where he tries to get Gus a job. But of course Gus, being an industrious hero, decides he doesn't want to do the work.
Douche.
The rules just don't apply to Gus because we've decided that we like him. Well, the filmmakers anyway. But Superman gets to grab some coal and make a diamond. Which admittedly is kind of cool, as silly as that is. Especially such a perfect diamond. Okay, I love a good redemption arc. I really do. I just about prefer, except for a few, any villain turn good rather than just be defeated. But this isn't a redemption arc. This is more like an exemption. He has hurt, if not killed, people. Knowingly. Just because he was distant doesn't make it okay. This is a logic that says if you hire a hitman, the only one who did the murdering was the hitman. No, you're distant, but you're still doing the damage, and you still need to pay the price.
As I had to explain to my niece a month ago, just because you hit your cousin with the doll doesn't mean you're not guilty.
But the doll's the one that hit her. Gee, what kind of idiot would have that kind of thinking?
If the bad guys are associated with a thing that happens to blow up, that's not really. He would see that. He would say that that's not really my problem. Like they shouldn't have been around that.
Boy, we go there a lot, don't we?
Zack Snyder, with the reasoning of a 2-year-old.
Worse, because the 2-year-old learned. So apparently Superman locked up the other 3 in prison off screen. What a fitting end. And he gives Lana the ring to replace her pawned one. And Brad somehow manages to show up right now and embarrasses himself with some slapstick. Fitting for his character. And back in Metropolis, Lois is back. And apparently kind of jealous of Lana. Oh, don't worry, Lois. It's no competition. You don't even exist now. It's okay.
Well, where's the handle?
There is no handle. You just push the button.
So apparently this movie is just anti-computer in general. Puts you right on the level of this guy.
Yes, I evaluated data when I first applied to the Academy.
And was the sole member of the committee to oppose my entrance on the grounds that I was not a sentient being.
And Superman tries to right his earlier wrong in Italy.
It's funny because he's from another country.
So, after destroying the man's livelihood not once but twice, Superman waves to the camera and we end this movie. Thank God. Fans of these movies really debate over which is the worst one, this or the infamous Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. It's similar to Jurassic Park 2 versus Jurassic Park 3, or which cut of the Justice League is worse. Do you like something that has really good highs and really bad lows, or something that's just tepid and moderate in between and just kind of lame?
Is inconsistent better or worse than just kind of generally meh?
So, do you want turnip-flavored pudding, or do you want a mocha shake with dog turds in it? I'm not sure which I'd call worse, this or Superman 4. Like I say, I go back and forth myself. But I will say this movie did have some strengths. The junkyard scene with Superman, pretty much everything with Clark and Lana is really good. And I have to say, honestly, Richard Vaughn as the villain, this might sound heretical, I think he would have made a better Lex Luthor than Gene Hackman. Because he had the same level of menace, but he never felt like he was goofing around. He was having fun and hamming it up, but it felt like Gene Hackman thought he was above this material. Robert Vaughn really seems like he knows what he's in, and he's okay with that. He knows this is not a bad thing to be. So as usual, decide for yourself. But as for me, well, it may not be Superman 4, but it ain't Superman 1 and 2, that's for sure.